of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Those that are still present, those in our Jersey audience, and those here in the studio, can you on this conversation, the message, may I eat this peace and bless about your presence. Those out there, may I eat this peace about your presence. You say a significant point. Those people that are out there, that are in, who
a lot of the so-called mujahideen,
right?
You know, the painted beards and what have you. You know, they uneducated and they ain't got structured jobs, or they got situations where it's loosely are held down, and then they want to bring compulsion on somebody who, if they turn away at the wrong time, they hurt their family. See, before you start telling me what I need to do or what I must do, you need to know my whole situation. If you don't know the completeness of my situation, then you don't need to start trying to advise me.
Right.
That's why when you go into a psychiatrist's office or wherever, they say, okay, sit down and tell me about your life. If you don't tell them everything, they don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't use psychiatrists because most of them don't know what to tell you anyway. But if you go to a spiritualist, a true spiritualist, then you have to let them know what's going on with you, or you need to.
And the thing is, like, people have to be real with themselves. And a lot of time we get away with being real with ourselves, and we think that we could trick Ahezaah.
Yeah.
Being unreal with ourselves, yeah.
And the thing is, if you're going to surrender to Ahezaah, you need to do it wholly. You know, people talking about leaving jobs. If you're allowed that situation, praise be to Allah, Allah opened that door for you to have that situation.
Yeah.
If you're not allowed that situation and you constantly trying to do that thing, you're not going to go to the masjid and find peace. You're going to have all that worryation and everything. You ain't going to be thinking about Allah. You're going to be thinking about, oh, Allah, please, let me, da-da-da. You know, my whole thing is you got to be true to yourself. A lot of people have these people telling them what to do and what not to do, and then they walk around and they're miserable and they're confused and they don't know which way is up. And I'm like, Allah's the perfect guy.
Let me give you a little situation that I had back in the 70s, you know, when I was still searching, I was young and what have you. I worked for the post office, the federal government.
Right.
And during that time, they passed a law that no one could keep you from your religion.
Right.
And so the post office, being the federal government, they were like the first to, you know, abide by that law.
Right.
So, okay, here goes Juma prayer. I used to go to services on Park Street, I believe it is, in Jersey City back then.
Right. Okay.
On Fridays. And then I used to come to Newark, you know, to the mosque. And different things happened to me during that time where I started becoming more spiritualized and more elevated in my mind, and I started seeing things that wasn't too comfortable to me. Okay? So I stopped attending certain situations because of the opposition I was receiving.
Right.
And I was like, okay, these brothers think they own Islam. This ain't right. You know?
Right.
So I kind of like got away from going to partake of their company during those times. But I said, what am I going to do with what I've set my situation on Fridays at my job? Because I took off a half a day every Friday.
Right.
You understand? I could have tried to change my shift so that I wouldn't have to deal with that. Right. But I said, you know what? Because of the way I live for my Lord. I'm not living for material things. I'm going to give this up.
Right.
You understand? So I didn't work the 40. I worked 36 or whatever. Right. You understand? So I gave that up. When I stopped attending with them, I didn't go back to that job. Right. And it ain't have nothing to do with ego or what people would think. I start going home, having Juma alone, or inviting a few friends to the home, and we would pray and study Quran and do whatever.
Right.
You understand? Now, as time went on and Allah put me in a situation where I had become its messenger and I had people around me, I've had an individual who I remember distinctly being angry when I said, we're going to have service, when we say have the Jummah service on Friday. Why you not coming or why you leave? She said, who going to pay my salary?
Yeah.
She is very adamant.
Right.
Who going to pay my salary? And she didn't need the money, and I knew it.
Right.
Right? But that's not what I was looking at. I said, oh, my Lord. So I told her, I said, first of all, the one that's going to pay your salary is the one that gave you the job. The one that gets you up every day to go to that job. The one that gives you breath and mind to be of that job. The one that put food on your table and provide for you in every area of your life and your life being. That's the one. But that wasn't enough for that individual.
Right.
Because in her mind, she was a slave to that job. She was stuck on that job. You know, you couldn't do nothing with her. But I didn't put compulsion on her.
Right.
But I gave her an explanation. And then I let her be. Now, it's been like 15 years or more. You know, 20 years, I don't know. But I felt for her because she still haven't changed.
Right.
You understand? I had someone say to me just yesterday, we was talking about doing this service for Allah, for Ahezaah, and she said, what, you talking about my real job?
Right.
Or this? And I'm like, I'm glad you said that. Because we as human beings got it twisted. We think going out there working for the jinn, working for the world, trying to get material things and what have you, that's our real job, when the real is Allah. Right. Our real service, our real savior, our real life-giving breath, our real reality of mind is Ahezaah. But we look at the things that it give us to help in our preservation as that is the real. We've chose that over it, and that's where we become twisted. You feel where I'm coming from? So there shouldn't be any compulsion or no force, but you should have explanations for people. Now, if they choose to be of that, then good. So be it. Right. But you can't force a sick man to heal himself. You can't do it. You know?
You know, I think about, you know, Ahezaah says in the Quran, when Ahezaah calls Muhammad to turn the direction of prayer, trial for some, but it was no compulsion or forcing of Muhammad. Said, those who believe are with me,
turn this
Ahezaah said, Allah said, turn this way now. And then those who are with me, turn that way.
Right.
But at the same time,
and if you say that today to the same
people
about to
say,
who descend them, they'll say, are you crazy? Stop for Allah. What do you mean? Muhammad said turn this way. Yeah, but Moses and Israel had said turn another way.
That's right.
You know, and Muhammad said turn this way. You know, but long before even those people all around the world was told to turn a different way.
Right.
So you think that Allah has stopped with Muhammad? You see? Yeah. Like, oh, it's impossible for us to turn away.
Yeah,
now what?
Structure.
That's that structure
again, right?
Right. You know, and they find themselves incarcerated by the devil.
And those people, by turning differently than what they believe, they feel that they're being compelled, although they're being given a choice.
Yes, they're given a choice. But let's look at this thing. They say Jesus was supposed to return, right?
Right.
He would be of sheep that had wool and so forth and so on. We know that that's something that's not stringy like the monkeys, right?
Right. But
they turn us to Caucasians right before our eyes with stringy long hair and say that's Jesus. Something in complete opposite of what has been described about him.
Not only described, but Rick.
That's what I'm talking about. Rick.
Right.
Said that his feet would be like burnt brass. Brass is brown.
That's right.
Dark. So from head to toe, Allah gave this man a description of what? A black man. A nappy head, dark-skinned man. Yeah. The Muslims sin in saying that Muhammad is the last and Allah would never send another word down.
That's right.
Is equal to the Christian sin of putting that man on the cross and saying that's Jesus.
Right.
It's equal because they know that in the Holy Quran, Allah said, this is the book of judgment for that which came before it. All my words that came before and for all my words to come after this. Right. But they saying Allah ain't going to send nothing after this.
Right.
Huh? And then they know that in the true final speech of Muhammad, he never said he was a final messenger. No. But they put that in there.
Yeah, they do.
They know that it was put in there, but yet and still they act, billions of them,
uphold it,
act as though it wasn't. So, okay, right. What devil have they excused?
Yeah.
And say that they bow down to Allah in truth. Yeah. The truth that they bow down to Allah in is evil. Right. Like I said at the top of this program, what truth, what part of truth are you looking for, or what part of truth are we talking about? Because truth don't necessarily mean right. Mm-hmm. And right don't necessarily mean wrong. Right. And wrong don't necessarily mean right. And I know I might sound confused to some people, but what's right for me may be wrong for you.
Right.
Huh?
That's right.
What may be true for me may be untrue for you.
Right.
But it don't take away your truth. Right. The devil is true to its being. Mm. It is evil, and it is truly evil. Huh?
Mm-hmm. And the Muslims really try to confuse people that
A lot of them are confused. It's not the Muslims that's trying to confuse. A lot of the Muslims, billions of them, are victimized by the scholars that Allah said is going to come to destroy. They're victimized by it. They read those books and they listen to their imams who has been victimized as well, and they all victims of this falsehood. Right. And they fighting it, and then turn the religion into something else because of their disobedience. Allah have turned away from His guidance to them, and they think they're still guided. Right. Yeah. Therefore, this Holy Quran is not enough for them. Right. It's not the perfect book for them. Allah said this book is for the believers. So many of them so-called Muslims, they're not truly believers. Therefore, the book is not for them. They can't find their way in the book. They need something else. They need hadiths. They need the words of other men to give them fulfillment. Mm-hmm. Now, is there fulfillment of the pure? No.
No, they're not.
But they may be completely or wholly fulfilled in their evil.
Yeah. But Allah said it's so clear for those who Allah would bless to hear its word when it said, had Muhammad right, this is the perfect book for those who believe.
Right.
And that which has been revealed and that which is yet to come.
Yes.
Right. Allah didn't say that which was revealed in this holy book and that's it, period. He said, and that which is yet to come.
I know
and they disregard that, and that's right there for them.
Right at the beginning of the Holy Quran.
I know he's explained for me through the message here. Cause they don't really say which is yet because only a few translations like the A.H.A.D version, but most of them would say hereafter. That's when they would end it.
That's why they did that. Like I said, even in that little corny job that they did.
Right.
Why would Allah speak to man about the hereafter when man is here in the here? Right. You understand? Right. They act as though the Lord ain't the judgment that's going to come to you is just in the hereafter. The execution that's going to come to you is just in the hereafter. Like heaven, paradise for you is just in the after you're dead. Now, how many of us go to death and come back to confirm what Allah said? We can confirm what Allah is saying right here and now because we are all here. Why would Allah play such a trick on us? When Allah wrote that Quran of Muhammad and placed it in Muhammad, because the Holy Quran is the Quran of Muhammad. That's right. And Muhammad is of the Holy Quran. When Allah put that man on this earth and put that Holy Quran in him and forced those words through him, that was about all that came before it and that which was yet to come of this world.
Right.
They try to act as though what he spoke was all about what was in that book right then and there, not about what was to come behind it. Right. Oh, we can accept you talking about what came before because we know that can't touch us no more.
Right.
But now, for what was to come behind? No, the Holy Quran was not about the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran was about everything that was aside from it.
Right.
To draw in what was right and wrong about everything in our worlds. In the words of the Lord Most High. It wasn't about itself, but the Muslims today will try to make you think that Allah was talking about the book itself.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then we supposed to worship the book.
Right.
You described the Quran once was as an empty scale per se. It's just a scale which weighs that which before, that which behind, which is coming. In that it doesn't talk of itself, it talks about everything else. Even
well, I like what you're trying to say, but I don't like that terminology.
Because
it is a full scale.
Right.
And anything you put in there that ain't right, the balance gonna be immediately knocked off, and you gonna know that ain't right because it's not keeping the scale balanced. It's a full scale. It's made of the richest essence there is, and it's full. So when you put something wrong on it, poof, it goes, say, hey, that's not right. Take that off. Keep it balanced, because Allah put everything in there. Everything we need. So it's a full scale. And if you put any wrong in it, it's going to knock off the balance.
I know one of the greatest forces that they utilize in the day is that they say Muhammad is the last. But Ahezaah, Allah in His mercy, left a little thing about Joseph. They say this about Joseph in chapter 34, or chapter 40, verse 34 of it. And then Allah sent Moses after that.
Right.
And now they saying that Muhammad, the final, Allah sent you now as fulfillment of the prophecy of Revelation.
Well, but you know what? That'll be something for people thousands of years to talk about. Yeah, they said Muhammad was the last, but they sent Holy-Apostle Deen. For us, that don't fit because the people say, man, get out of here. He trying to say he the messenger, the prophet. He can't prove that. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But Allah leaves something real beautiful in the Holy Quran with their translation. See, Allah tricked them. They say last. We know that last don't mean final.
It don't mean right.
Right? The last time I talked to you wasn't the final time I talked to you because I'm talking to you now.
Right now, right.
So Muhammad was the last. The last to who? The last of his people. He was the last of the prophets that came in the line of the Hebrews, the line of the Semitic people.
Right.
He was the last to them. And Allah said, I have provided so many for you. I have favored you over all the people. I've sent you all these messengers.
That's right.
And this is the one that come before the last day. Your last day.
Right.
Now we living in their last day.
Right.
And they were called by Ghulam Ahmed.
Right.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And they turned on him and said he wasn't even allowed to come to Mecca.
That's right.
Now that everything is in disarray, they allowed them to come, and them people have submitted and turned to them away from what the stance that Ghulam had taken. But Ghulam was Allah's messenger, or divine prophet, a divine messenger, who came as one who would straighten out the words for them, and they didn't want to hear him, huh? Yeah, and now. In his coming, here we got the dawning of a new day.
Right.
Huh?
That's right.
So Allah sent Noble Drew Ali to come across the water.
That's right.
Then raised Elijah through him. And then brought me up after Elijah as a sign. I sat in his office for 18 months.
Right.
And to connect with him.
That's right.
In Allah's word. Mm-hmm. But Allah sent people who was spiritually inclined, spiritually enlightened, like Wallace, Farad Muhammad, who was a mystic, who could communicate with Elijah and told him what Allah said, and then Elijah went on to do his work. Right. Now people want to look at Elijah and say, forget him. Malcolm.
Yep.
Farrakhan. Why? Because they're not taking the firm stance that Elijah took. Elijah called the people and did what he was supposed to do, as was said in Malachi.
Right.
Once his work is done, then here come time for us now. Mm-hmm. But how many people going to stand by? How many people going to tolerate us? Mm-hmm. Huh? Allah said to me, in the name of Ahezaah, Allah said to me, oh, they're not going to listen to you until pain hit them. Enough pain haven't hit the people yet. They're not going to hear you. So be patient. I'm going to destroy this world. I'm going to tear this world. I'm going to start showing them signs of this world falling apart.
And that's funny. I ran into a guy that watched me grow up as a kid, and we was talking, and he said, you know, he said, I'm telling you, he said, I never looked at the things like I look at it now. He said, we're going to hit famine.
Family, right?
Yeah.
He said, we're going to hit that. He said, remember Joseph? He said, people with money think they're going to be saved. He said,
No.
Water is not good to drink, and the animals ain't going to be good to eat, and the fruit and the vegetables is not going to grow so that we can eat. He said, I'm telling you, we're not going to recover from this.
Yeah.
I said, trust. He said, Revelation. I said, right. Allah said clearly in Revelation.
That's right.
I said, but who would take hold of the signs that Allah has manifested
Right.
today? You know, they so busy trying to...
Well, they listening to the jinn. They
Yeah.
think that they have the power. You know, America will never be at war. Oh, how dare them people come over here and bomb our World Trade Center and do this, that, and the other. We really don't know who did that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's too many smoking guns, man.
Yeah.
As they say, to know who really did it.
Too much money, too much power. And the most powerful thing that great governments such as the United States want to do, main thing they want to do, first thing, is keep a control of those people's minds.
And why is it that they outsourcing all the major companies to other people in other lands with our people hurting so bad for employment? Why is the government allowing the jinn, their brothers, their partners in their little organizations and their private and secret institutions, why they allowing them to outsource employment to India and China and this place and that place and so forth and so on, while the people here are suffering more and more and more? Why are they sending trillions of dollars of money up to NASA into outer space when we need it here on Earth, right here in the United States of America? Why are they doing all these things? They can't help themselves, because Allah said, I'm going to destroy this world by nature and by the hands of man.
Yeah, that's right.
By the hands of mankind. So they destroying the world themselves. They playing their part in destroying the world. And Allah and Ahezaah, our men, going to save whom it wills. Whom it desired to be saved, it's going to save them. People talking about Jesus saving somebody, they're going to find out no man can save another. Only the Lord Most High can save us. They're going to find that out.
Something, man. One of the great beauties of Ahezaah, you know, like Holy Queen was saying at the beginning of this program about how the understanding of the word compulsion, you know, a forcing of a thing, making people conform in the... But the beauty that Allah is expressing now of His eloquence through you is that only way to come to know true free and true is to come to it now.
Yeah.
In this day, in this time. And it's calling to that, as it says in Revelations. There will come a time in this day that man is seeking for death and won't find it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to run from here to there, trying to hide. And Allah exposing these things about the nature, how the elements is taking effect so bad now. We just had this recent hurricane and this recent tornadoes tearing Kansas and all these all the way up to here, up to touching Pennsylvania, everything.
I don't even know about that because I ain't looked at TV in over a month. You know, I ain't looked at the news in over. I don't know what's going on. What's going on, brother? Because see, I'm telling you,
it's the very thing that you either been prophesying about.
They've said all kinds of things. The Muslims have said I was deluded. The Christians don't even listen to me. And Allah has manifested all this modern day prophecy through my mouth since 1998 or whatever. Right. And all these things is happening, and I don't see no extra brothers running up in here saying, "Wait a minute, you prophesied that." No, they standing back saying, "Wait a minute, I can't let nobody know I believe this brother now." But see, sight and things will tell. Right. And going to continue to tell. This world is falling apart. And maybe that's why Ahezaah is not letting me even look at TV and the news to find out what's going on, because it don't want me to be concerned.
Like you prophesied, Lord, not enough pain yet.
No, oh no. It's going to be some... They're going to realize that the wrath of angels is set down upon the world today. The world being turned off its axis was just the beginning. And when the world was turned off its axis, the first thing that was affected, aside from the trees, the things that were stationary in the ground amongst nature, is the bridges all over the world that was made stationary with the little screws and bolts that man has placed in them. That's why they're afraid about the bridges all over the world, because they know if Newark rose 2 inches, when that tsunami hit back in 2004. On the other side of the world, you think about it. Slam, 2 inches. Up and down. The whole world went out. And was slammed. Everything was loosened up. And immediately after that happened, Allah said, you're going to have bridges falling. You're going to have the land falling. You know, what started happening? Bridges, land, even in New York, man, things just start falling apart. San Francisco, California, things just falling apart. They think that we making this stuff up. That Allah is not gonna knock off a part of California.
It's funny because
that New York is not gonna be underwater soon enough. That the polar caps is not gonna melt. No. And water gonna be flying down in the United States in different parts of the north, which they're not accustomed to no more, in those basins all around Canada. People live in basins, man. They think New Orleans is the only basin. They have basins that's all up around the north, man. Just waiting for nature to change again and fill them up. And they live in there comfortably, as though things is not gonna change. You know, we got a lot of things going on, man, in the world that they don't want you to. They'll point you to somebody trying to leave a bomb in
Times
Square. So that's good news, because that take your mind off of what's going down. Huh? They tell you about the stock market. Oh man, the stock market crashed. What the heck? Then a couple of days later, somebody left a bomb in Times Square. Oh shucks! Everybody turned away from the stock market crash.
That bomb
who did it? Them damn Muslims. And we don't know who did it.
Who did it?
For real. Who really behind this stuff? The devil, man, got many faces. And they don't just stop with Arabs.
That is true.
Got faces, man. You know? And we got to recognize that as human beings. See, we let the enemy of man turn mankind against one another. See, we all man's kind. We all the kinds, somewhat like the mind, the supreme eternal mind. And we different kinds of minds. Because that's what man means. We different kinds of minds. And we let the worst kind of mind turn us against one another. And they put race and sex up as a thing for us to fight against. Huh? And we're killing one another with it. All out of order. No peace, no love, no law, no order. You know, it's who can get up front and push their issue. While the messenger of Allah sit back and people say, well, watch out for him. He want to lead. He want to do this. He want to do that. No, I don't. I'm just giving y'all a message. Y'all want to get with me and get behind me? That's on you. Allah will favor you. But I'm not going out there trying to beg you to come with me. If that was the case, if I really wanted to get a lot of following, all I got to do is start lying. Because they believe in lies. You want a TV show? Curse Allah on TV. Somebody call you up, I'm going to give you a show. Because look at all the comedians that curse Allah on TV. They all got shows. They're in the theater now. Look at the rap artists that curse Allah.
Things right. To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?